The impossible ship. Captain Maya Chen stared at the holographic display showing humanity's remaining territory. The glowing blue sphere that represented Earth was surrounded by an ever-shrinking perimeter of defense stations and patrol routes. Beyond that line, red markers indicated Vexeri-controlled space, a sea of conquest that had been growing steadily for the past 3 years. "They're pushing us back at every front," Admiral Takahashi said, his weathered face looking even older in the harsh blue light of the war room. "At current rates, they'll breach Earth's orbital defenses within 6 months." Maya nodded grimly. She had commanded the UES Dauntless until 3 weeks ago, when a Vexeri ambush reduced her ship to atoms and killed most of her crew. Only a desperate maneuver and blind luck had saved her and 37 others. "Fleet production can't keep pace with our losses," the Admiral continued. "The Vexeri ships outmatch ours in every conventional metric: speed, armor, weapons. We've lost 8 major shipyards. The remaining 3 are operating at capacity, but it's not enough." "So what's my new assignment?" Maya asked, expecting to be given command of another doomed defensive position. The Admiral's expression shifted subtly. "I'm sending you to Outpost Sigma 9. Maya frowned. "The abandoned mining facility. There's nothing there but stripped asteroids and space junk." "Exactly," Takahashi replied. "Nothing of strategic value to either side. It's been officially decommissioned for years. But unofficially, I've been diverting small amounts of resources there." He leaned closer. "I'm authorizing Project Phoenix." 3 days later, Maya's shuttle docked at Sigma 9, a collection of aging habitation modules clustered around a central hub that floated amid a sprawling debris field. Through the viewport, she could see fragments of mining equipment, sections of derelict ships, and countless pieces of technological flotsam drifting in the void. Dr. Aiden Nakamura was waiting at the airlock, a lean man with disheveled hair and eyes that darted constantly between his tablet and her face. "Captain Chen," he said without preamble, "I've reviewed your service record. Impressive tactics during the Proxima engagement. Your innovative use of gravitational slingshot maneuvers saved 3 colony ships." "Thank you," Maya replied, slightly taken aback. "Admiral Takahashi said you had a proposal that might change the course of the war." Nakamura's eyes lit up. "Not a proposal anymore. A project. Come with me." He led her through a maze of corridors to a large observation deck. Through the reinforced windows, Maya could see the debris field from a different angle, and something else. Workers in EVA suits swarmed around a skeletal framework suspended in space. It was difficult to make out its full shape, but it was clearly substantial. "What am I looking at, Doctor?" "The future," Nakamura said with undisguised pride. "The UES Phoenix, a warship unlike any ever built." Over the next hour, Nakamura explained his vision. Conventional shipbuilding approaches couldn't match Vexeri technology. That much was clear. But what if they stopped trying to match it and instead built something the Vexeri couldn't anticipate? "We're collecting discarded technology from a dozen different sources," he explained. "Mining equipment, civilian vessels, outdated military hardware, even Vexeri debris from battle sites. We're creating hybrid systems that shouldn't work together but do." The Vexeri rely on highly standardized technology and tactics. Their sensors, targeting systems, and battle computers are all calibrated for known threats. Maya walked closer to the window, studying the distant framework. "And this ship won't register as a known threat." "It won't register properly at all," Nakamura said with a grin. "Its power signature will be chaotic, its hull composition will confuse scanners, and its weapons." He paused dramatically. "Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The Admiral is giving me command of this experiment. If you accept, yes, I handle the technical side. You build and lead the crew. Most military commanders wouldn't touch this project. Too unconventional, too many unknowns. But your record shows you thrive on the unexpected." Maya studied the doctor's face. "How many people know about this?" Fewer than 50 outside this station. The Admiral wants absolute secrecy. If the Vexeri learned what we're attempting. She nodded slowly. When do we start? The first month was chaos. Maya assembled a crew of survivors, misfits, and specialists whose unorthodox approaches had limited their careers in the traditional fleet structure. Chief Engineer Gabriela Santos had been passed over for promotion 3 times despite brilliant technical innovations because she refused to follow standard protocols. Weapons Officer Dmitry Volkov had been relegated to training simulators after modifying ship cannons without authorization, modifications that later proved more effective than standard configurations. Together, they tackled the immense challenge of creating something from nothing. The Phoenix took shape slowly, its asymmetrical form a stark contrast to the sleek, uniform design of standard fleet vessels. Its hull was a patchwork of different alloys and materials, some salvaged from human ships, others from Vexari wreckage. The inconsistent material properties will scatter and distort enemy scanning beams, Santos explained during a progress briefing. They won't get clear readings on our mass, composition, or internal layout. Nakamura nodded enthusiastically. And the power systems are even better. We've integrated 3 different reactor types that work in sequence, each one's output characteristics modulated by the previous. The resulting energy signature is, well, it's beautiful chaos. Maya looked at the schematics with a mixture of hope and skepticism. And it will actually fly. Santos grinned. It'll do more than fly, Captain. The thrust-to-mass ratio is going to surprise you. Progress was slow and fraught with setbacks. Twice, they had to abandon entire sections and start again when components proved incompatible. 3 crew members were injured when a power coupling exploded during testing. Resources were always scarce, and Maya found herself constantly justifying requisitions to skeptical fleet logistics officers who didn't know the project's true nature. 4 months in, Admiral Takahashi visited to assess their progress. Maya led him through a half-completed vessel, now large enough that entire sections had atmosphere and gravity. It's not what I expected, the Admiral admitted as they toured the unconventional bridge. That's the point, sir, Maya replied. The Vexari won't expect it either. Standing in what would become the main weapon control center, Volkov demonstrated the hybrid weapon systems they were developing. Mining lasers modified with focusing crystals from communications arrays, point defense cannons that combined human targeting software with salvaged Vexari power cells. The beams operate at frequencies Vexari shields aren't configured to block, Volkov explained. In simulations, they penetrate at 83% efficiency. The Admiral's expression remained neutral. Simulations aren't battle. No, sir, Maya agreed. But we're running out of options for conventional battle. Later, as the Admiral prepared to depart, he took Maya aside. The Joint Command is pressuring me to divert these resources to traditional defense platforms. He looked tired, the weight of humanity's slowly failing resistance evident in his posture. I need to show them something concrete. Soon. Maya nodded firmly. 6 more weeks, Admiral. We'll have our first full system test. If it fails, shut us down. If it succeeds, Takahashi finished, I'll get you whatever you need to finish. The next 6 weeks were a blur of round-the-clock work. The crew, now numbering over 200, pushed themselves to the breaking point. Sleep was a luxury. Meals were hurried affairs in the makeshift mess hall. But as the Phoenix took its final form, something changed in the atmosphere. What had begun as desperate improvisation had evolved into fierce pride. This ugly, impossible ship was theirs. The day of the system test arrived. Maya sat in the command chair on the bridge, surrounded by her officers. The Phoenix was still docked at Sigma 9, umbilicals providing external power until they activated their own systems. All departments report ready, Captain, her XO, Commander Reyes, announced. Maya took a deep breath. Begin power-up sequence. Throughout the ship, the hybrid reactor system came to life. Power flowed through hastily assembled conduits, lighting up systems that had been salvaged, modified, and reborn. On the bridge, screens flickered on, displaying readouts unlike any standard fleet vessel. Reactor synchronization holding steady, Santos reported from engineering. Power output at 40% and rising. Maya leaned forward in her chair, feeling the subtle vibration through the deck plates, the heartbeat of their creation. 50%, 60%, 70%. There was a moment of tension as power levels approached the critical threshold. This was where simulations had shown potential instabilities. 80%, 90%. Santos' voice remained steady, but Maya could hear the underlying tension. 100%, Captain. All systems nominal. The Phoenix is alive. A cheer erupted throughout the ship. Maya allowed herself a small smile before returning to business. Cut external power. Let's see if she can stand on her own. The umbilicals disconnected. For a breathless moment, everyone waited. The lights remained steady. The hum of the engines continued uninterrupted. Independent power confirmed, Santos reported, her voice thick with emotion. She's holding, Captain. Maya nodded, satisfaction warming her chest. Begin thruster test sequence. Let's see if our impossible ship can move. Outside, maneuvering thrusters fired in careful sequence. Slowly, for the first time, the Phoenix began to move under its own power. From the observation deck of Sigma 9, Admiral Takahashi watched, his stoic expression finally breaking into a smile of wonder and hope. 2 weeks later, Maya stood on the bridge of the fully operational Phoenix, looking at the main view screen. The stars shone brightly against the blackness of space. Sigma 9 was now behind them as they conducted their first real space trials. All systems operating within parameters, Captain, Rise reported. Our stealth profile is exceptional, better than projected. The test buoys can't get a consistent lock on us. Maya nodded, pleased but not surprised. The Phoenix had exceeded expectations at every turn. Its unconventional design confused sensor arrays. Its hybrid engines provided more speed and maneuverability than any ship of comparable size. And its weapons, though untested in actual combat, showed promise that bordered on the miraculous in simulations. Message from Fleet Command. Communications Officer Park announced. Admiral Takahashi sends congratulations and new orders. Maya raised an eyebrow. Let's hear them. We're being deployed to the Arcturus sector, Park continued, reading from her screen. Vexeri forces have been massing there. Fleet intelligence believes they're preparing for a major push toward the Sol system. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Their unproven vessel was being sent directly into the fight. Time to see what Phoenix can really do, she said quietly. Set course for Arcturus. Let's introduce ourselves to the Vexeri. Trial by fire. The Phoenix dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Arcturus system. Sensors passive. Power systems dampened to minimum detectability. Ahead lay the contested space where the Vexeri advance had pushed back human forces for months. Intelligence reports indicated a Vexeri battle group was operating in the area, preparing for another push toward Earth. Passive scans active. Lieutenant Park reported from her station. No immediate contacts. Maya nodded, studying the tactical display. Begin system-wide sweep. Minimal power. Let's find them before they find us. The bridge crew worked in focused silence. This was the moment they had prepared for, the Phoenix's first real mission. Despite their confidence in the ship's capabilities, uncertainty hung in the air. Simulations and tests were one thing. Actual combat against the Vexeri was another entirely. Contact, announced Tactical Officer Volkov suddenly. Bearing 047 Mark 023. Multiple signatures, consistent with Vexeri patrol formation. On screen, Maya ordered. The view screen shifted to show a group of 5 Vexeri vessels moving in precise formation. Their hulls gleamed with the characteristic blue-black metal that had become synonymous with humanity's nightmare. Sleek, predatory, and deadly efficient. Analysis, Maya asked. 4 escort-class vessels and 1 cruiser, Volkov replied. Standard patrol configuration. They appear to be conducting routine operations. No indication they've detected us. Maya studied the enemy ships, calculating options. Their position relative to the jump point. They're directly between us and the main shipping lane to Earth, Commander Reyes answered. If this is a forward patrol, the main battle group can't be far behind. Maya nodded slowly. Then this is our chance to test Phoenix's capabilities and gather intelligence on their larger force. She straightened in her command chair. Battle stations. Prepare attack plan Delta 3. Throughout the ship, the crew moved with practiced efficiency to their combat positions. In engineering, Santos prepared the hybrid power systems for combat operations, ready to channel energy where it would be needed most. We'll approach from their blind spot, Maya explained, indicating a position on the tactical display. Maximum stealth profile. When we reach optimum range, we'll target the cruiser's communications array first, then weapons. I want to disable, not destroy. We need to capture their tactical data. The Phoenix moved silently through space, its unconventional drive signature masked among the background radiation of the system. Its patchwork hull absorbed in scattered sensor suites rather than reflecting them cleanly. To the Vexari scanning systems, if they registered anything at all, the Phoenix would appear as little more than an asteroid or debris. Range to target, 12,000 kilometers, Volkov reported. Closing. Weapons hot and ready. We'll be in optimal firing position in 2 minutes. Their status? Maya asked. No change. Standard patrol pattern. No indication of alarm. Maya felt the tension on the bridge, the nervous energy of a crew about to face their first real combat. They had trained for this, but nothing could fully prepare them for the reality of engaging the enemy that had pushed humanity to the brink. 1 minute to optimal range, Volkov announced. Maya took a deep breath. Prepare to bring all systems to full power on my mark. She watched the enemy ships on the screen, calculating the precise moment. 3, 2, 1. Mark. The Phoenix surged to life. Power flooded its systems as it accelerated toward the unsuspecting Vexari vessels. The element of surprise was complete. By the time enemy sensors detected the anomaly, the hybrid weapons were already locked on target. Fire primary weapons, Maya ordered. The modified mining lasers fired, their beams a strange purple-white color as they cut through space. They struck the Vexari cruiser's communications array first, just as planned. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Instead of being deflected by enemy shields, the unconventional energy signature passed through them, as if they weren't there. The communications array exploded in a shower of metal and energy. Direct hit, Volkov called out, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. Their shields didn't register our weapon signature. On the view screen, Maya could see the Vexari ships reacting in confusion, turning to bring their weapons to bear on this unexpected threat. They're returning fire, Park warned. Energy beams lanced out from the Vexari vessels, but most passed harmlessly around the Phoenix, their targeting systems confused by the ship's irregular hull composition. Minimal impact on sections 4 and 7, Reyes reported. Shields holding at 92%. Target their weapons arrays, Maya ordered. Firing pattern Epsilon. Again the hybrid weapons fired, striking with precision that belied their improvised nature. 2 of the escort ships lost primary weapons capability, their sleek hulls now marred by blackened craters. The cruiser is attempting to coordinate a response, Park reported. They're having difficulty establishing a target lock. Maya allowed herself a grim smile. Just as we predicted. Their standardized systems can't adapt to our irregular profile. She leaned forward. Bring us in closer. I want to disable their engines next. The Phoenix moved with surprising agility for a vessel of its size, darting between the Vexari ships, its unconventional engines giving it maneuverability that confounded enemy targeting computers. Each pass brought another precise strike from weapons that shouldn't have worked yet performed with deadly efficiency. Within minutes, the Vexari patrol was in disarray. The cruiser's main engines were offline, 2 escort ships were completely disabled, and the remaining 2 were attempting to retreat. "They're sending distress signals," Park announced. "Long-range communications to their main fleet." "Can we block them?" Maya asked. Santos's voice came over the comm from engineering. "I've been analyzing their transmission frequencies, Captain. Give me 2 minutes, and I can flood their bands with interference." "You have 1 minute," Maya replied. "Volkov, target the engines on those retreating ships. We can't let them escape to report what they've seen." The Phoenix turned sharply, pursuing the fleeing Vexari escorts. Its weapons fired again, precisely targeting propulsion systems. One ship tumbled out of control as its engines failed catastrophically. The other continued to accelerate, desperately trying to reach a distance where it could jump to faster than light speed. "Transmission blocked," Santos reported triumphantly. "Their distress call won't reach the main fleet." "The last ship is approaching FTL threshold," Volkov warned. "We can't catch it in time." Maya considered her options quickly. Activate the gravitational disruptor. There was a moment of hesitation. The gravitational disruptor, a hybrid system cobbled together from mining tractor beams and experimental gravity generators, was one of the Phoenix's most theoretical weapons. It had performed well in simulations, but had never been tested in actual combat conditions. "Disruptor online," Santos confirmed. "Target locked." Firing. From the Phoenix's forward section, a rippling wave of distorted space shot toward the fleeing Vexari ship. As it enveloped the vessel, the fabric of space-time around the ship momentarily compressed and twisted. The escort ship's hull buckled under forces it was never designed to withstand. Its attempt to jump to FTL speed failed catastrophically as the spatial metrics around it fluctuated wildly. "Target disabled," Volkov reported, a note of awe in his voice. "The disruptor worked better than our simulations predicted." Maya nodded, equally impressed. "Secure from general quarters. Prepare boarding parties for the cruiser. I want their tactical data and any intelligence about their main fleet's position and strength." As the emergency alarm silenced, a spontaneous cheer erupted across the bridge. The Phoenix had faced its first real combat test and passed beyond all expectations. The impossible ship had just proven itself the most effective weapon humanity had deployed against the Vexari. 6 hours later, Maya stood in the conference room, presenting their findings to Admiral Takahashi via secure communication. The cruiser's data core contained their full battle plans, she explained, gesturing to the tactical display. "The Vexari are gathering forces for a major assault on the Proxima Centauri colony. From there, they plan to launch a 3-pronged attack on Sol system itself." The Admiral's expression was grave. "Our intelligence hadn't detected the Proxima buildup. This is concerning." "There's more, sir," Maya continued. "We've analyzed their tactical databases. The Vexari rely heavily on predictive combat algorithms. They literally cannot comprehend strategies that fall outside their programmed parameters. The Phoenix confused their systems completely. They initially classified us as a sensor malfunction rather than a ship." "And the boarding?" Takahashi asked. "Any casualties?" "Minimal, sir. Their internal security was designed to repel conventional boarding tactics. Our approach using modified mining tools to breach at unexpected points bypassed most of their defenses." The Admiral was silent for a moment, absorbing the implications. "This changes everything, Captain. Your success proves the Phoenix concept works." He leaned closer to the camera. "I'm authorizing full production of Phoenix-class vessels. We'll convert all available resources to this program." Maya felt a surge of pride, not just for herself, but for the entire crew who had made the impossible ship a reality. "How soon, sir?" "The first production vessel can begin construction next month. In the meantime, you have new orders." He transmitted a data packet. The intelligence you've gathered gives us an opportunity to strike before their Proxima operation begins. You'll rendezvous with the remains of the Fifth Fleet at these coordinates. They'll provide conventional support while Phoenix targets the Vexari command ships. Maya studied the coordinates. That's deep in Vexari-controlled space, sir. It is, the Admiral agreed. But for the first time in this war, we have an edge they can't counter. Phoenix isn't just a ship anymore, Captain Chen. It's the beginning of a new strategy, one the Vexari can't predict or prepare for. The mission to Proxima changed the course of the war. The Phoenix, operating in concert with conventional fleet elements, struck at the heart of Vexari operations. Its unconventional weapons and unpredictable profile sowed confusion and chaos among enemy forces accustomed to rigid battle doctrine. For the first time since the conflict began, humanity seized the initiative. Over the following months, more Phoenix-class vessels joined the fight. No two were exactly alike. Each incorporated different salvage technologies, different hybrid systems, different impossible combinations that somehow worked. What they shared was their unpredictability, their refusal to follow conventional design principles, and their effectiveness against an enemy that couldn't adapt to their chaotic nature. The Vexari, faced with weapons that bypassed their defenses and tactics that defied their predictive algorithms, began to withdraw from contested systems. Their once inexorable advance faltered, then stalled completely. 1 year after the Phoenix's first mission, Maya stood on the bridge of her battle-scarred vessel, leading a task force of 12 ships, 5 of them Phoenix-class, toward the Vexari homeworld. Their mission was not conquest, but diplomacy from a position of newfound strength. "The Vexari flagship is hailing us," Park announced. Maya nodded. On screen, the alien face that appeared was familiar now, the blue-gray skin and amber eyes characteristic of the Vexari species. But the expression was new, not the arrogance of assured victory, but the careful neutrality of one who seeks terms. "Captain Chen," the Vexari commander said through the translation system, "your unconventional vessels have proven most effective. Our High Command requests formal negotiation." Maya maintained a neutral expression, though inside she felt a surge of vindication. "The United Earth government is prepared to discuss terms. We transmit coordinates for a neutral meeting ground." As the communication ended, Commander Reyes moved to stand beside her chair. "They're actually backing down," he said quietly. After all this time, Maya's gaze drifted to the view screen, where the Phoenix-class ships of her task force moved in loose formation, each one unique, each one a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. "They'd never understood what they were fighting," she replied. "They saw our conventional ships, built to specifications, following standard design principles, and thought they knew what humanity was capable of." She shook her head. "They never grasped that our greatest strength lies in breaking the rules, in finding solutions where none should exist." She ran her hand along the arm of her command chair, feeling the subtle vibration of the impossible engines that powered this impossible ship, a vessel built from desperation and defiance, now the harbinger of peace. "The Phoenix was never just a warship," she said softly. "It was a statement that even at our darkest hour, humanity refuses to be defined by our limitations." Outside, stars streaked past as the task force moved toward the coordinates where history would be made, led by the warship that shouldn't exist, but now ruled the battlefield.